Byron, where did the idea for this show come from?
The idea, I've been a fan of the sport for a long time. Really became very interested in the people that would choose to do that for a living. Such a extreme life to choose, and dangerous, no security at all. So I just started paying a lot of attention to it, meeting a lot of these guys and girls, and getting into the world and the subculture of it. And the deeper I got into it, the more apparent it was that it's a great place for a family drama. I mean, I think a lot of the themes of it are very relatable to people. They're just on a little bit of a heightened plane, a little more visceral.
I think that's what's really surprising about it, because you hear it's a show about mixed martial arts,
Yeah.
and you think, well, okay, it's going to be this
Exactly.
kind of thing, but there's this really surprising family drama underneath it. It's almost kind of Shakespearean in a lot of ways, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that was always the intent of the show, was to try to show this world in a way that you did not have to be a fan of the actual sport itself. But if you give it a chance to get in there, you kind of live and die with these guys.
Mm-hmm. So, take us through the process of coming up with the central characters and storyline. How long did that take you?
Well, it took a little bit of time, even though it's sort of, I would say our show is not, it's not a big premise kind of show or a big hook. It's really pretty straightforward drama, just told in a little bit of a different way. But really was thinking about what is the best way to explore all of these themes, and I think that's through a family. And I think so much of the subculture of MMA, in terms of who's drawn to it and why, it's a lot of people who need a place in the world, who need a family, who are looking to be loved, or to hold on to love and things like that. And they just need that sense of community and camaraderie, like we all do. So once I figured that out and decided to set it around a family, and I also wanted to deal with the short shelf life that you have in this world, and that feeling of mortality. So then it was sort of creating Alvy, and through that, everything kind of, all the spokes kind of radiated off that.
Mm-hmm. And how much research did you do into the world of mixed martial arts fighting? I mean, going to fights and talking to trainers and fighters. Can you talk about the research you did?
Yeah, I did a lot of that. I mean, in the very beginning, I just sort of did it locally in Los Angeles. There's always, on any given night, a lot of fights on sort of smaller promotions going on. And then once the show got picked up and it was really getting going, I got a hold of Greg Jackson, who's the top trainer in the world. He trains all, John Jones, and had, George St. Pierre and Holly Holm and Cowboy Cerrone and all these guys. So I reached out to him in Albuquerque, and he was incredibly gracious and invited me out, and spent a week there. And he and I have since become good friends, so I go out there a couple times a year and stay with him and spend time, and he works on the show. So once I got in with Greg, he got us to Joe Daddy Stevenson, who's on set with us every day as our on-set technical guy, and leader, of all the fighters that are on our show. And so once you're in, you're in. You know what I mean? Like if you do these guys and girls right, they really accept you and embrace you. So, so yeah, it's constant research. Just you just get immersed in it. So,
So talk about the cast, finding the right people to play these parts. How long of a search did that take?
It was a very exhaustive process, because it's a hard show to cast for a number of reasons. Not only is it the physicality of it, which is its own thing. You can't just be a guy that lifts a lot of weights and goes in the gym. There has to be fighters move a certain way. You could go in a room with 100 people and pick out the fighter in 2 seconds. It's just a way that they move. So it was about finding the right physicality, but even more important than that, there's not all that much fighting on the show. I mean, there's a good amount, but there's a lot of emotional scenes that require some chops as an actor. So that's always the big challenge, and that's really what you look for first and foremost. I just got lucky that I happened to find all these guys and girls.
So we're 20 episodes into it. We got 10 more coming up.
Yeah.
I guess next
June
week.
1. Yeah, June 1st.
What are some of the highlights of those first 20 episodes for you? Some that you would point to and say that was a really good example of what this show is all about.
I think it's any time that you really tap into those father son, mother son, brother sister, kind of relationships are the moments that I always really love. I mean, any time you have a big scene between Alvy and Lisa, I always find that those are really rewarding. I mean, Jay, Christina is always extremely moving to me, and also Jay and Nate, the brother stories. That's something certainly very close to my brother, so that's always something that resonates with me a lot. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So take us through the production of an episode.
Mm-hmm.
From script to final editing. How long does it take? What is it?
Well, we shoot the episodes in 7 days. So, I'll bang out the script. By the time I finish writing it, we don't do a ton of rewrites. We have a lot of freedom that way. And then we go through and we figure out, can we afford this? Where are we going to do it? How are we going to make this work? And then it's about, letting our incredible crew take over. Our director of photography, Sid Seidel, phenomenal, and his crew is the best in the business. They're so fast and so skilled. And we shoot with 2 cameras, and we're more or less handheld. We don't really lay down a lot of dolly tracks or anything like that. So we move pretty fast, and that's become a lot of the language of the show. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all the actors show up dialed in. There's no kind of the only searching for the scene is just making it better and experimenting a little bit. There's no time for apathy or anything like that. And once we get that shot, we turn it over to Pat McKinley, who's our editor, who he cuts every episode for us, and is really my partner in terms of the aesthetic of the show, everything from the way we cut it to music and all of that. So once we do that, we're done.
And you shoot here in Los Angeles.
Yeah,
You're on the
we do.
set right now, and you guys shoot in and around the city. What does that? What is setting it in Los Angeles add?
Well, what it adds is, I needed to set the show in a place that it was believable that MMA was a part of that world. You know what I mean? So you couldn't just go to some other city where maybe they're just not, the MMA community is not that big. So LA was really a no-brainer for me. But what's great about it is shooting here, and really feel lucky that we get to do it, even though it's more expensive than going out of town, is we don't have to hide anything. We can put the cameras everywhere. It feels real. It's where these people would really live. And so it just gives it, I think it gives it a sort of feeling of authenticity, and just makes it all feel more natural.
Talk about the Audience Network. Why were they the right home for this show?
Well, they really got on board. I mean, they read the script and said, "Don't even worry about shooting a pilot. Let's go straight to serious." And they've been incredibly supportive creatively. We're all making the same show, so they really let us take it and run, and turn in a great show for them, and support us. So it's been great.
So we've got 10 more episodes to look forward to for season 2. Can you give us any indication at all what we can look forward to? You don't have to give anything away, but maybe in terms of some stylistic choices or stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything we've done up until this point is now coming home to roost in these next 10. So a lot of relationships that have been kind of brought along and will kind of have to be reconciled now. And there's going to be a big showdown between our fighters, and it's really kind of a do or die moment for the gym and for these people's lives.
Isn't it an exciting time to be working in television creatively?
It's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. Definitely. I mean, it's been said a million times, but I think the quality of television is at an all-time high. It's really dominates the conversation, I think, culturally, and it's where you get to tell the stories you really want to tell. So it's a great time.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, man.